We are back. It's been a while. You know, we've been going through a whole bunch of different things, but it is time to get everything back on track and rolling. But before we do, I have to give a shout out to one of my brothers, one of my friends, the drummer from Twin Giant. Yeah, we call him Jeff over here. And he's got this new project called Helios Custom Designs. I'll put a link in the show notes. You have to check this out. It's HeliosCustomDesigns.com. Are you looking for some kind of new merchandise? He's got you covered. Hit him up and tell him that Doom Tomb sent you.
Hey, how y'all doing? Let's get fucked up. This is Dixie Dave from Weed Eater, and you're listening to Doom Tomb, and so am I.
The following podcast is produced by Ian from No Masters Audio. Check him out for any kind of audio needs. It's No Masters Audio. The link is in the show notes. And now, let's start the show.
If this is what Satanism is all about, then sign me up.
Do what's right, and you can't go wrong.
This is the Doom Tomb Podcast, the podcast for all things within the heavy underground. My name is Chris. I am your host. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and just waiting patiently while we got everything back in order here. Now, we're going to travel to southern Ontario, Canada, which is about 90 kilometers, 56 miles in my terms, north of Toronto. The city is within Simcoe County, located along the shores of Kempenfeld Bay, the western arm of Lake Simcoe. The band is spelled AAWKS. We're going to find out all about it and what it means. Let's hear the interview right now. There is a band that I was reached out to, or I think we reached out to other. It's I don't know. We did something. Anyway, somebody talked to somebody. And they are out of Barrie, Ontario. Now, I don't know if you have heard about this band. I think you have. 2 straight months they've been on the Doom charts. And the way they call it, they say that they are a product of 4 acid casualties, united by a love for high fantasy, psychedelics, and heavy rock music, alongside some guest musicians who wander in to add their own flair. With everyone from the band, AAWKS, except for one person. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, now, welcome to the Doom Tomb. How you doing?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, okay.
Doing good.
Awesome. Now, if you can, just for sake of knowing sound and names and et cetera, please say your name and what you play.
All right, my name is Randy, and I play the drums. Woo.
After you, Bob.
I'm Roberto, and I am on guitar.
And I'm Chris, and I do vocals and guitar. And our bass player, Dan, is not here tonight because he's playing in an Elton John cover band.
Oh, outstanding. Have you seen him play?
Yes.
Okay, give me a little bit about this. So, Elton John cover band, what's this moment where he feels like he shines?
What is it? He takes this love of learning new things, and he found it a challenge, as apparently Elton John songs on bass are super complicated and intricate.
His name is Dan, and I think they do the song Daniel, and I think that's it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think
and
you
it's
nailed
not
it.
a very busy bass line. He's doing the bass, and I think that's his showpiece for sure.
Fantastic. Now, we've got this album. It's been out for a little bit. It's called Heavy on the Cosmic. We want to get to it, based off some stuff on Instagram. As I understand, it's music that would wake a sleeping gnome. I think there's one maybe in the studio somewhere, if I'm not mistaken.
We definitely might have a sleeping gnome in the pool house, as we call it.
Mm-hmm. I see. All right. So one thing that I was not quite sure about, and I didn't know, so I guess I just got to ask, can you talk to me just briefly about the name?
So, you know that group of kids that kind of hangs out in the corner doing the weirdo shit, like maybe D&D, or like who knows what they do? Maybe
Sure.
They smoke a little pot. Maybe they, who knows? They do that stuff, that clandestine stuff that all the normies and the jocks like to make fun of them about.
Indeed.
So we're named after those guys.
All right. Yeah. If I get it. It fits perfectly. And yeah, I just saw a movie about that.
Well, I always thought it was like more like an animal ox because they were big, lumbering,
Heavy.
fuzzy, heavy, but adorable at the same time.
Well, of course you are.
Also-
Yeah, all the most beautiful people I've ever seen. Hey, I got an idea.
All right.
You want to? Can we move in? We'll just go right into some of the tracks and talk about them.
Absolutely.
Right on. So, like I said, the album is heavy on the cosmic.
Among these drugs, the hallucinogens, are included mescaline, a chemical taken from the peyote cactus, psilocybin, extracted from a variety of Mexican mushroom, DMT, synthesized from the compound tryptamine, and of course, LSD-25, a derivative of lysergic acid, and currently the best known of the hallucinogens.
We want to start off with the first track, Beyond the Sun. Now, I got this inviting right away from you all, and you're bringing the listener in with a narrative, a little bit about some LSD and some trippiness. And then here's the one thing that caught me with this, and this album kind of floats and circles around and touches on so many different pieces and genres. What I got from this was, like, I call it the Argentinian Sound for me, because there's a few bands like Mephistopheles that I hear that they have this filth, this dirt, and when I heard what you have, I feel like it's just a slight bit faster. It's still fuzzed out, and you added more psych. And that's what I got as soon as I started hearing Beyond the Sun. What can you tell me about it?
You're pretty much bang on. When I first heard Mephistopheles, I was on a family trip with our two young girls who aren't into our stuff at all, like our kind of stuff, and Randy, and we're driving on like a 6 or 8 hour drive, and I was so obsessed with it that I couldn't not play it nonstop over and over again, every album. So
Right.
I was completely obsessed with Mephistopheles for a good like 6 to 8 months. And, you know, during that time I had written this song. And it's also very like, you know, it's me trying to make a Sabbath song that came from Argentina, essentially.
Right. Oh, that's
And
perfect.
yeah, and then like as far as the kind of like the vibe of the song, like I'm really into Frank Frazetta's art. I don't know if you know his like fantasy art.
Yeah, is he the Molly Hatchet guy?
He's the Molly Hatchet guy. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
That's the
it's
way I
funny.
remember it. I'm sorry.
The Molly Hatchet painting is called Death Dealer, and one of our other songs is based on the song the painting Death Dealer 2, but this one is based on a painting from him called Red Planet.
Getting a call here. Hold on.
Oh.
Hello? Wait, hold on a second. Hello? 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 Is somebody there?
Why, yes, there is someone there.
Ooh.
Oh, hey. Oh, there he is.
What's up, guys?
Mystery guest. Oh,
Yeah, we figured, hey, why not? So in case anybody doesn't know by the sound, this is Blake from the band AIWASS. Blake,
yes.
this is the band AAWKS. This is Blake from AIWASS.
We've met.
Perfect. Now, Blake, you caught us just as we were starting, so I'm just going to kind of run through some of these. And Blake, if you have any questions, please chime in. And we'll figure it all out. Let's go to the next track, and this is Sunshine Apparitions. I got this like up-tempo psych with a vocal that reminded me a lot of Steve Miller. Like it took me back to that Best of Steve Miller with that, I don't know, that funky kind of cover thing. And at the 2:30 mark, man, that solo, bam, just brings it on, just gets right into it. What can you tell me about that track?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much, because I'm a huge Steve Miller guy. And Bob probably feels the opposite. I know Bob is not a Steve Miller guy, but I love him, and I love his vocal sound so much, and that timbre that he gets. Oh man, like that's a huge compliment. So thank you. But yeah, that song's about a psychedelic experience, and like all of our stuff, it has like a lot of kind of metaphors of personal growth and that kind of stuff intermixed with it. So some different ego-based stuff.
Gotcha.
How deep you want to get into that?
No, I'm good right there. Blake, do you have any questions about that track?
I do. I'd like to know how it started. Like maybe this kind of relates to kind of your songwriting genesis as a band. But how did you write that song? Was it different from other songs in terms of the process itself?
Right.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, like, I'll be driving the car, have the headphones on or whatever, and I've got music on. And sometimes like a certain song will be just super inspiring, and I always joke that like I'm not a good enough musician that if I tried to write a Beatles song or a Pink Floyd song, it wouldn't sound like them, because I'm not that good. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. And I remember this story that Beck told about writing the song Loser, and he said, that was me trying to sound like Chuck D, and Loser came out. And I was like, well, I like Chuck D, but I also like that Beck album a lot. And I think I'm kind of in, not that I'm as good as Beck or anything, but I think I'm in that category where, I tried to write a Fu Manchu song, and then Sunshine Apparitions came out.
Well, for me, it was a lot of love of going nice and fast and having that real feel of just like heading down a highway somewhere. And, you guys are both in Arizona, right? So like that desert kind of road, kind of endless feeling. But instead of just driving and never stopping, that slowdown, that chugginess is like that pullover, that staring into the stars, and just that heavy, like momentous like journey you take in the desert, maybe with a little extra help, and then you get back going again the next day, and it's just a full-on like just traveling, adventuring kind of song for me.
Can I ask you a question about this song, actually?
Absolutely.
Because it reminded us so much of the desert and that vibe. And so I'm curious, is it just that you guys have listened to so many desert bands that you know how to create that feel? Because it was very, very authentic.
We definitely all grew up listening to your Caiuses and your desert rock stuff, but sort of the northern twist to that is what we're going back to, driving through the desert, wide open spaces. Up here on a dark, cloudless night in the wintertime, you're driving out in the middle of nowhere, everything's blanketed in snow, and the moonlight's shining on it, and it's like that's the kind of song you put on, right? And it's just vast open spaces and nothingness, some trees here and there, but it's kind of like our version of the desert, but it's
Northern Lights.
Yeah.
All Is Fine, which is the next track that we're going to go to. We've got some plodding, sludgy doom in my eyes here. And then at about the 120 mark, grabs me with this tasty riff, got a distorted vocal, a little bit of change in the vocals. So I've heard many vocal styles. I've heard some Steve Miller. I've heard some distortion. And then later, the harmonies of this track kind of they washed over me. And really, really enjoyed it, especially after hearing The Woods. It seems like the way you positioned the tracks of songs really kind of fold into one another very, very well. What can you tell me about All Is Fine?
I like juxtaposition and then contrast. So a lot of really great doom is evil, and I wanted to make something that was like the hope and the light within the darkness, the opportunity within the tragedy. Sure. So again, back to that kind of self-help theme, self-help doom. I wanted to make something that had like the light shining through the clouds, and that's why I chose that theme and tried writing what I would call a hopeful doom song.
Can we possibly right now just coin it? Can we call it like Posidoom?
Posidoom.
There you go.
In it to win it. Posidoom.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a big Little Lord fan, and I always find like they have that really cool juxtaposition where like the melodies are these almost have a hope coming through, but the riffs are so heavy and the beats are so heavy and everything. So I'm a huge fan of them. They were a big inspiration for this tune, even though it doesn't sound like a Monolord song, but that was kind of me trying to write one.
I got you.
I was just gonna add in. I want to describe to you guys Sunshine Doom. So I'm gonna opt for that one as a candidate for one day.
I feel sunshiny all the time, so.
Well, I figured it was both sunshiny, just because you guys have that kind of like psychedelic California edge, but also sunshine acid, which I thought, also kind of related to some things that you guys have talked about. So, yeah. I
wanted to do like so the outro with all the harmonies and stuff. I always picture those like 60s, 70s cult. They're all wearing white flowing gowns in like a field, and they're like doing some kind of demonic-y chant of some kind. And
it's summer.
So I was trying to make that imagery happen.
Let me ask you something about that, Chris. Have you ever seen the documentary about the Source family?
I don't think I have, actually.
Not the Source family, no. I do like watching a lot of those, though.
Okay, you might want to check it out because it goes around and talks about this guy that went by the name of Father Yod. And if I'm not mistaken, it was either the first vegetarian, vegan, or first raw food type of business in California. And a lot of actors and actresses would frequent that place, and then he would do something like yoga or some kind of meditation in the back. And then people kept coming, and it was growing and growing and growing, and eventually formed this sort of commune. And as soon as you said that, I'm like, if you haven't seen this, invest your time and watch this, because the one thing that I have seen about this, you see stories about cults and how, like, I couldn't wait to get out and it was awful and it was the worst experience possible. Now, these people are years removed from anything that happened with the Source family, and they still look at it as magic, like a magical experience. And it was one of the very few times I've ever seen that in a documentary.
And I just want to touch on, like you said, those ending harmonies.
Right.
That, like, oh man, when you hear those in recording isolated, I know that, for Chris and Claire, they kind of get that whole like, oh my God, it's me. Oh no, But for me, like you said, it kind of encompasses you and gives you kind of the heebie-jeebies, and like it is hauntingly beautiful. Yeah. And it is something else, because I couldn't come up with that. I couldn't place that in a song, but to hear it and then see it mixed in, it was like, that was where that was always supposed to be. And that was insanely perfect.
Let's see. We're going to move on to the Electric Traveler. I don't know. Maybe you could answer, where is the traveling or where's the traveler going? What treasure was found? And what can you tell me about this track?
That's you.
Okay, all right, I'll take over again. So the song's about Frazetta's Death Dealer 2. And oftentimes I get inspiration from like a painting or whatever. So I was looking at it and I just made up my own narrative to that painting. And it's about, so he's in my narrative, the Death Dealer 2 is part of a group, and they have a bunch of adventures and go through a bunch of stuff that's depicted in the words of the song. And then he eventually drinks some poison from a demon and dies and comes back as a ghost that haunts a hidden well of an abandoned church. Ooh. And of course there's lots of metaphor in there, but that's it. So that's the surface level of the story.
That's it.
I got you. So the next track is Space City.
Want me to do it again? You guys want to do it?
You got anything, Bob?
These are your babies.
All right, so
Yeah.
so that's that song's about an experience with something, and what they call a heroic dose, where I forgot who I was for a long time. I actually lost track of all time and space, and that's kind of what came out. So it's that the concept of the ego death, where you don't know who you are or what you are or that you are. And it's about kind of a catharsis or going through a portal and then coming out the other side changed and different. Mm-hmm. And I'm a huge Floyd fan, so especially their early stuff, their pre-Dark Side stuff is my favorite. So
okay, what are you more, like a Piper, or are you like what?
I like I do like that album, Piper the Gates of Dawn, but I'd say like Soundtrack to the Fillmore, Obscured by Clouds, Metal.
Metal is the best Pink Floyd album.
Yeah, I love Metal. And so any of those albums, including Piper. I do like Piper, but I like the Gilmour heavy pre-Depresso stuff. Not to say it's not masterpieces, like those Animals and Wish You Were Here are phenomenal, but I don't put them on much because they make me feel like ugh.
Tune will be right back after these words.
We will get right back into the interview in just a minute. But before we do, social media, man, it is such an interesting thing, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I see some general strangeness. But, sometimes good comes out of it. Like, I've got into this good conversation with Babylon Sun. They have a brand new release out. I'll put a link in the show notes. And also, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, like Firebird Straps. You're going to want to check it out. I'll put a link in the show notes. And who knows, he custom makes stuff. Maybe he can make something for you. Firebird Straps, check it out.
And now, we return to the Doom Tomb.
Okay, so the band is AAWKS. We know this. And we're going into something different. Star Collider. I just want to take my face and grit my teeth and just get every wrinkle up and get that claw going, because that's the kind of song I want to see live, Just get that metal claw in the air. What can you tell me about Star Collider?
That was amazing. Holy shit. Thank you.
I think he said it.
Growing up, I was a huge Kiss fan for sure. So subconsciously it may have been, but consciously it was, again, me trying to write a Fu Manchu song. So that's my Scott Hill. My Scott Hill sounds like Ace Frehley, which, hey, cool.
Start to glide into a new direction I'm bound.
Peeling Away is the next track. And thank you so much, AAWKS, for polluting me with this thickness. Loving it. Yet another different vocal. And going on a journey. And there is a vibe at the end of this track that, it's just straight up fury. What can you tell me about Peeling Away?
My favorite part of Peeling Away is, I don't know if you guys hear it the same way I do, but there's a sexy groove happening, and I really feel like a lot of babies could be made off of it. So that's the part of the journey I hear.
There you go.
It's a good time.
All right. Okay, boys. So you heard it here first. So we got Posidoom. I don't want to say Pregnadoom. That would be weird.
Sexy Doom.
What is it?
Sexy Doom.
Sexy Doom. Yeah.
And if we bring in a little bit of, I'm not saying, but a little sub, a little dom. We got Domadoom, and that's good. We can live with that.
Vulva Doom.
and I got to tell you, what a great way to end this album. So I like to ask this a lot with bands. I might even ask you, Blake. With Peeling Away, is this because of the way you did your track progression, is this a taste of what the future of AAWKS is going to have?
That's a good question. It's kind of like I'm always writing, and we're always kind of getting together and jamming. So I don't know. It's whatever kind of comes out, and I don't have too much control over it, to be honest.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming Chris hasn't heard it how we intended it. So Star Collider rolls straight into peeling away.
Yeah.
And that's how it will show on the vinyl. So it's that push and pull.
Yes.
In a natural sense. So you probably heard it as two separate tracks, but when you hear it live or when you hear it on the vinyl, it's going to be one blend that goes from one right to the other. And it's, to me, I love the feel of that. It's a really great thing to do and jam in. See, I get back to the sex
so
every
happy
time.
right now.
Me too. Yeah, because dude, I was gonna ask, like, so I'm checking out on Bandcamp, and I don't see vinyl here. What's going on?
Works. We have our vinyl promo video like almost ready to go, and our pre-sales will be coming up soon. It's probably going to be November by the time it's all ready because we have such a backlog up here. But yeah, it'll be coming out 180 gram vinyl black for the first pressing, a short run of 100.
Nice.
And
This fall.
When, if you can give a little taste, like when do you think a pre-order is going to pop up?
I'm going to say within the next week or two.
Yeah, by September for sure.
Definitely by end of August, September. Yeah.
Oh, that is nice. And believe me, everybody that is listening, you will want to grab this now. Jake, Jake, what the fuck am I talking about?
Jake?
I'm all Jake, Drake's Cakes, Hostess, Twinkies, whatever. Look, yeah, I guess I'm on a bender because like I saw a video last night. What was I watching? It was I think it was a Hot Ones episode on YouTube. I was probably high. And it was I think it was Guy Fieri. Anyway, so here's what they did. I don't know if I'm buying into it.
I'm confused. Do I remind you of Guy Fieri now?
Yes, because every time I hear your riffs, Blake, you bring me to fucking Flavor Town. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
So yeah, it wasn't him. Anyway, so what they did, so somebody took Twinkies, they cut them in half, and then put in a hot dog in between. So the Twinkie was the bun. And then you could only use spray cheese as the topping. Now, I know. Hey, look.
Hey, now, on a Philly, spray cheese is essential. Like when we were on tour in Milwaukee, we had Phillies at like 3 a.m, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy because I got spray cheese, or Cheese Whiz, as I always think of it. But it's essential for a Philly. Like it just makes the taste. So that one time in my life I will ever defend Cheese Whiz.
And you should, because look, all right, so let me ask all you mighty members of AWKS here. So have you ever had Cheese Whiz? Do you eat Cheese Whiz?
I endorse Cheese Whiz.
Oh, thank you, sir. As you should. So when you do, like, have you ever had a Cheese Whiz sandwich? Because I feel like I'm alone in this.
The only time I do a Cheese Whiz sandwich is with one piece of bread, and you fold it.
Yes, you do.
Okay,
yes,
that's
you
fine.
do. It creates the channel.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So, toasting, no toasting.
If I have Cheese Whiz on toast, it's just flat. But if I'm doing a Cheese Whiz sandwich, it's definitely like the most bleached white ass Wonder Bread.
Okay, I'm gonna just throw in a concept out here, just an idea. Go with 2 pieces of bread. You got twice the amount of Cheese Whiz. Now, this is going to be a simple element, but I swear to you, you're going to be like, you're here right now. You're right here on this level. You can be up here. Add oregano to the Cheese Whiz.
Damn.
Maybe this is a Southern thing. But my suggestion would be some fried bologna.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
That could work.
Fried bologna sandwiches, but for me, it was always mustard. But yes, I could do it. I could do
Definitely
that.
a big meat.
Yeah, the South is a very problematic place, but it does know what it's doing with food.
You know, Blake.
It likes its food. No shyness there.
Blake, you gotta.
Fried bologna is a staple up here on the East Coast of Canada.
Really?
Oh, man, I'm gonna love it up there.
It's very common.
And Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
Northern Ontario was the bulk meats of sorts, like your deli ham
And game meats.
Oh yeah, and wild game, but
Like,
that's a whole other story.
Randy
But
and I
now-
grew up in hunting families.
Here's the thing. Like I'm getting older. I need a little pizzazz, a little oomph, and thank you, Blake, for the fried bologna. Great concept. I absolutely love it. I'm going to even add one more thing, and then we'll move on. I'm going to go with a fried pancetta.
What the fuck was he talking about?
With the cheese whiz.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm trying to move it next level, a little bit more salty. Are we in? Are we out?
Have you been watching Chopped a lot lately or something?
Yeah. I think that 90% of my shows on television are food related. Yes. So you know what, Aux? Thank you so much for going through this album. Now, can we do? I don't know if you're going anywhere. Can I grab you for a couple more questions?
Please do.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now let's talk a little bit, because we've got this album, Heavy on the Cosmic, and then there was an EP. You had 2 tracks. Now, how do you feel that you progressed from those 2-track EP, from that 2-track EP you had?
Come on, Bob. What you got?
The COVID lockdowns definitely, I think, had a big part to play with that. Just woodshedding, a lot of woodshedding,
right?
Yeah.
And rehearsing and just honing the craft.
Yeah, we initially, like, back before Randy, we were kind of doing more of like a psyche garage indie rock thing almost. And then I just decided that I was gonna like give into my 8-year-old Black Sabbath, nut, and say I'm just gonna make heavy music. Like, I'm not gonna try to write these melodic like indie rock songs. I'm gonna try to write something. I'm gonna make something that I really want to make from my gut. So I went full on into this stuff.
As you did, and now like the last track is Peeling Away. I asked you about it and about if that's the journey for the next. But I'm also curious about a song like Summer Haze, because it had a little different sound than the last release, for at least the first part of it anyway. Do you think that kind of style will come up in your future?
It may at some point. I know our bass player really likes that song. That was kind of the remnants of the indie rock thing, where I was trying to write like Pixie songs and like, Breeder songs and stuff with,
right,
more melodic, a bit softer, atmosphere. And then that's kind of what came out, because I love fuzz. I've always loved fuzz, but decided to go a bit more evil with the newer stuff. But I don't know. It's interesting, because my heart's definitely in the more like going towards more Mephistopheles, Sabbath, evil, but we'll see what happens.
I think going back to what you were bringing up previously about, the end of the album, and is that foreshadowing us, what's to come for future material. Every time we come to rehearsal, Chris has like a new song. Like, there's so much different stuff in the hopper. We've been jamming on some almost like prog tinged,
right,
kind of psych stuff. And then, there's more like 90s grunge, almost poppy stuff that we've been toying with. So
interesting.
More deserty stuff.
Yeah,
definitely a lot more deserty stuff.
There's more cowbell coming in. There's actually cowbell at period, because there wasn't any on the first album.
It's funny. I was just going to ask that is an integral part of each album that you should at least just for a second, just put it in. Just a little throw in. Now, you know what? I apologize, but I'm hearing the way you're talking, and I have to ask this question, and it just boggles me, and I don't know if there's a documentary about this. I'm a documentary fan, but okay, I'm going to ask all three of you, because I apologize, but I hear the accent a little bit. You can't do that on television. Fans, yes or no?
Yes.
You bet. Alanis was on that show.
That's the best.
Alanis was on that show. Okay, now let's talk for a second. Favorite character on that show, or favorite person on that show?
Oh,
it was the hamburger cook, Barth's Burgers.
Yeah, it was Barth Burgers. Yeah.
I heard that.
Oh, Barth.
He was also the guy in The Executioner.
Yes.
Yes. And many other. He played the dad. He played everything. Okay, so all right. So how about this? I'll give you a few names. You tell me yes or no. All right. So Christine, yes or no?
You're talking about
Big yes. Big yes.
You know yet?
All day
Sir,
long.
you are damn right. Because and also Christine, aka Moose, yes, she was the star of the show, hands down.
What an appealing nickname, Moose.
You know, Blake, it was the 80s. Things were fucked up.
Yeah.
That's the way it went.
Yeah.
And then, okay, Blake. So, Blake, have you ever seen You Can't Do That on television?
Oh, man.
No, I have no idea what we're talking about.
Look it
Blake,
up. Homework.
catch this. This is crazy, right? And you're gonna, I know you're gonna think this. So we got Christine, and then there was Lisa, who had short hair, braces, and stuff. They used to just call her hippie because she was. Do you remember that? Like, we accepted that.
She was like into flower power and peace.
Oh no!
Or like, okay,
yeah,
ouch.
Yeah, a little bit on the curve.
That was my favorite.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think that would fly anymore.
Okay, I got one more just because I like the name and I don't hear it enough in anything on the show. Alistair.
Oh, Alistair.
Remember that kid?
Yes. You know what? My biggest memory of that show in general was just when they'd have that little interlude with the lockers and they would just do little one-liners and jokes and pop out. I couldn't wait because I wanted to know everything they're saying. Like, what's now? Oh, that was
totally. And I think that was kind of an homage to Laugh-In, because Laugh-In used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the piece, and I don't know why people don't freaking talk about this. You Can't Do That on television was the genesis, the origin of slime.
Yeah.
And that's what Nickelodeon was all those years. You know, it's like when I first heard in the popular vernacular somebody saying the word "not" as "quote unquote" the ultimate no. Yeah, I saw that years ago with Anthrax doing it. You know.
Yeah.
But I think we should take a minute, really, and focus and discuss how awesome You Can't Do That on television is, because I think it was like such a different show. And by the way, I don't think we could do 95% of it now.
No.
Well, here's something. You mentioned Nickelodeon. Here's like a piece of like weird trivia about Nickelodeon.
Right.
Do you know what one of the three, I believe it was 3 original Nickelodeon cartoons was?
No.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
No way.
Huge fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Huge
That was
fan.
like Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, and Doug.
Oh my God.
I love
How
it.
do you not like
I
that?
love Ren and Stimpy. I still watch clips from Ren and Stimpy and reference it all the time.
Okay, so
Many hours
thank you.
watching
I apologize. I just had to get that out of the way. It was very important to me, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, right.
Indeed. But we're going from the past to something really current, and that is, you know, I've been seeing a lot on social media from you, and I have been seeing that there's a lot of dates coming up. You're getting out there. You're playing live. Can you talk about a little bit who you playing with, where you at, what are you doing?
Absolutely, yeah. So next show's our first show in London, Ontario,
Right.
and that is with a bunch of different bands.
Oh, man.
Looping. Who else? I gotta look.
Swearcrow.
Swearcrow, yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna get it for you. Something about Pot is Drugs.
Pot is Drugs.
Oh, very nice.
And there's one other funky one which isn't even popping up on my phone right now. Dang it! I wish I had this ready.
Well, that's okay. While you're doing that, you did some shows with Sun Below.
Oh
We've
yeah.
done 2 or 3 shows with them now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're good
Some
dudes.
coming up too.
I love me some Sun Below.
And they are just like good humans too. They're just like, I love good music, but then when you can meet the people and interact and just get that vibe where you're like, I'd take an 8-hour road trip with you. Like, they're just good dudes.
I insist there's something in the water in the greater Toronto area that makes it's like something in Sweden where they have like all these insane bands. Like you have all these emerging, just fantastic bands in your scene.
The scene is really getting big here.
So I found it for London, August 26th. We're playing with Incognito Baby, Swearcrow, looping, and pot is drugs.
Yeah.
So we'll give you feedback on those guys.
And then September 4th, we're playing with this band that maybe people have heard of called Earthless.
Are you kidding me?
I've heard of that.
Did you when you heard that you were going to be booked, did you have to like change your shorts or something or what?
Yeah, it's weird, like you get this full body buzz happening, right? Like it's like a natural high that happens when you hear stuff like that. And honestly, I thought it was a joke because we got the message and I was like, come on, this has got to be not real, or I'm dreaming or something.
Places to play in your area.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
Places to play. Oh God. Well, Toronto's got a whole schwack of them. Like I already mentioned, Lee's Palace would be my dream gig in Toronto. We played the Hard Luck Bar. It's a great dive bar called Tale of the Junction.
Bovine Sex Club.
Bovine Sex Club is a blast. That's a great
place.
You had me there.
No, wait. Bovine Sex Club, was that where I talked to a band called Flashback and Hexerai? I feel like that came up.
It's possible. It's an iconic place. It's a small, dingy, unique little hole in the wall.
It's like live music 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
all over the interior of the bar is like old junk and like baby doll heads and stuff. Just like it's like you're in a cavern of junk almost, but it's really cool.
Yeah. There's also places like Horseshoe Tavern. What's the place we're going to?
Velvet Underground.
Velvet Underground's where we're going with Earthless. And what was that one? Sorry. Oh, no, that was Hamilton. But that Doors Pub in
Doors
Hamilton
Pub,
was so much fun. It's
Doors-
in a Century home. And the feel and the vibe with like the old fireplaces and the big rooms, like the grand rooms of, old, is so cool, man.
So here's a question for you all. And I don't know if you have done this or haven't done this, but have you ever taken a picture by the Spirit Catcher sculpture? And if so, is that a thing to do when you're in Barrie, Ontario?
Guilty.
Yep.
That's about that's one of the few things to do in Barrie, Ontario.
I was at a show down at the Queens, which is our local place to play right now. And there was a dude there with a Spirit Catcher tattoo on the side of his neck.
When you're going, go hard, man.
Hardcore Barrie.
All right. You know what? We're gonna do one more question here.
Okay.
Best TV show theme song.
Oh.
100% hands down for me. It's the Doctor Who theme song, the original one.
Yeah, great. Go in the Cardis. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going with Dukes of Hazzard.
Great song.
Just a good old boy.
Yeah. That's
all
right.
right.
Yep. Come on, Bab.
Who's the boss?
Bob has a Who's the Boss thing.
Love Who's the Boss.
Yeah.
Were you upset when Samantha didn't want to go to college? And I know Tony was very
Samantha. Hey, yo.
Hey, she don't want to go to college. Exactly. All right. So we're
what the Danza slap is? Can I tell you guys?
Right.
No? The Danza slap. Have you heard of this?
No.
I think so. Fill me in. If I'm
That's when you pull it out and tap her on the forehead and say, "Who's the boss?"
Oh shit! I didn't know it was going there. Oh my God! Thank you for the win. Nothing else to fucking say here. The band is AAWKS. Tell everybody how to buy all your stuff.
How do we buy our stuff?
Go online and check out our link tree.
Oh,
also the go ahead.
I was just going to say we can purchase our tapes
Uh-huh.
off of Northern Haze
Yeah.
or Tarantula tapes.
Yeah.
Right now we have our funky pineapple edition. Woo woo.
Yeah.
And if all else fails, message us. We're pretty cool. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, we have our website's due to come out any day, and our pre-sale will be available for the vinyl, like we said, in a couple weeks.
Thank you so much for joining us, Blake. Love you, brother. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks,
Thank
Blake.
you, Chris.
We're going to do this again. I'm going to be contacting you offline.
Oh.
We're going to talk about a few more things.
Can I mention one thing before we go?
Yeah,
And
we
I
got a
want to
hot
make sure
minute.
this is here because we owe you a big thank you. As when Space City came out as our first single, you were the first podcast to actually play our single. So you were our first experience with hearing it from like another format, you know? And it was a wild experience for Chris and I to sit here and listen to you and like get to hear our song played. It was the neatest thing. Thank you so much.
Hey, you know,
That's
we got
cool,
it.
Chris.
We forward the scene. Chris and Chris, we got this. We're on lock. Thank you so much. I would like to thank 3/4 of the members from AAWKS for being at this interview. I know there were certain circumstances beyond control, and someday we will get them all together. Maybe we can have them come to the States for a few shows. Now, we have to play a track. What are we going to do here? I think I want to go with, let's see. I think I'm going to go with track number 7. It's got that Ace Frehley vocal, and any really, seriously, any song that makes me want to snarl and throw my metal claw in the air gets my nod. Let's hear the track. This is Star Collider. everyone, for listening. We are back. We have a few new episodes right down the pike here. And if you need to reach out to us, it's doomtombpodcast@gmail.com. I've got a show on Sundays, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, each and every Sunday on craniumradio.com. You hear all of the finest within the heavy underground and a lot more. There's a lot more you got to hear. You might not know it, but trust me, you need to hear it. Also, this episode, and for the past few years right now, all these episodes have been produced by Ian from No Masters Audio. You need something for audio, something for visual, hit him up. He knows how to do it right. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, social media, Doom Podcast, blah, blah, blah. Listen, follow, like a video. That'd be great. Comment, that's awesome. Hey, if there's anywhere where you can comment about the podcast, leave a review. You know, maybe it helps. I have no idea. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll see you out at those shows. Buy some of that band merch. And don't forget to stay heavy.